Mike Lindell is losing what is left of his mind. Pride Month is confusing for Trump supporters. Senator Roger Marshall is an idiot, and Don Jr. is just a regular guy. Maybe. Let's get into it. Now, MyPillow CEO and primetime perpetrator of election fraud lies, Mike Lindell, is in court defending himself against defamation charges by a former employee of Dominion Voting Systems. And the whole case is absolutely bonkers. Just to quickly recap, right after the 2020 elections, some random MAGA podcaster claimed that he'd been on an Antifa conference call prior to the election. And that on this call, Eric from Dominion confessed his plot to steal the election. Then Mike Lindell started going on any cable show that would have him, where he started blasting a guy who works for the company named Eric Coomer. Coomer sued Lindell, and here we are. Now, the trial started this week, and predictably, it has not been going very well for Mike Lindell. You got to see this absolutely unhinged rant from the courthouse steps. All right, let's take a look.
But it was also my evidence. So when I come in, I needed that evidence. When you delete evidence, it's like throwing a gun in a river. That's called spoliation in any court case. They threw away my evidence. You think I wasn't upset about that too? But no, I wasn't worried about some court case down the road. I was worried about, I can't believe the cover-up, that they're covering up our elections, starting here in Colorado.
This literally sounds like a rant of a guy who needs a new pillow and is not getting a good night's sleep. Bananas. Look, Lindell also told reporters that he believed, quote unquote, Satan was controlling voting machines. I'm serious. We'll keep you posted as more insanity develops out of this trial. Now, in honor of Pride Month, my good friend, the comedian and activist Walter Masterson, put up an American flag t-shirt and went deep into MAGA land to bring us this amazing video that hilariously exposes the utter hypocrisy of the MAGA crowd. Let's watch the whole thing together, all right?
I'm happy right now because I haven't seen near as many rainbow flags and rubbish as we've seen last year.
They're making the kids wear these flags and these hats.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, don't make the kids wear these flags and these hats and make it their entire personality.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They make it their whole identity. They've got the shirts, they've got the flags, they got the hats, they got the shirts. It's like it's their whole personality. You got these people with these flags, they're waving it in our faces.
Right. I don't care if you're gay.
They just don't wave this flag in my face. These flags everywhere that they wave around in everyone's face. It's become their entire personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have these people with their flags and their hats that they wave around in everyone's faces, and it's become their entire personality.
I live in a place where everybody is gay. I could say
You can't say gay, it's Florida.
Oh. No, that's only at Disney.
You should have seen how it looked me trying to just get on a flight to get down here with a MAGA hat on. They treated me like I was Osama bin Laden.
It's become harder to be open about your identity nowadays. Right?
Yeah, people just need to speak up. They need to say what they believe. I'm a straight male as well.
You're a straight white male,
and I'm proud of that.
Just on a Saturday or Sunday, I got nothing to do. I put my flags out and I ride through town to remind everybody.
Can you imagine like going someplace and being attacked just for your identity?
That's crazy.
All right, wave those flags with pride, folks. Now, the question that's literally on the whole world's mind is, where are all these trade deals that Trump promised? A week ago, Kevin Hassett said we should start seeing them a week ago. Scott Bessent is just trying to get a return call from Beijing, apparently. But look, fear not, Patriots. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt is on top of it. Let's watch this exchange with her and a Wall Street Journal reporter.
Reuters was reporting that there is a letter that is meant to be sent to other countries, which would give these countries a deadline of Wednesday to produce their best offer on the trade matter. Why does the administration feel the need to send this letter? And I have one more follow-up on trade.
Sure. I can confirm the merits in the content of the letter. USTR sent this letter to all of our trading partners just to give them a friendly reminder that the deadline is coming up. And they are in talks Ambassador Greer, Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick are in talks with many of our key trading partners around the globe. As you know, Brian, I know the Wall Street Journal has covered this quite heavily, and they continue to be engaged in those discussions. And this letter was simply to remind these countries that the deadline is approaching and the president expects good deals, and we are on track for that, I will emphasize.
Okay. We sent a letter. The president of the United States unilaterally blows up nearly a century of global trade. Look, promises glorious new deals. Gets absolutely nowhere. And now we're sending a letter? This is such a fucking embarrassment, folks. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene just read the big, beautiful MAGA budget that she voted for 2 weeks ago, and she's not happy. Greene says that she didn't know that the bill strips states' rights to regulate artificial intelligence for the next decade, and now she's pissed about it. MGT says she'll withhold her vote when the budget comes back to the House if that language is not stripped. And remember, folks, this budget only passed the House with a single vote. And I want to reiterate that single vote was the loss of Democrat Jerry Connolly, who should not be forgotten. The budget is currently sitting in the U.S. Senate, where it faces an uncertain future after high-profile defections from Senators Rand Paul and Ron Johnson, some of whom like to spend the 4th of July in Moscow, Russia. But Senator Roger Marshall of Nebraska is all in on this budget. But listen to some of the shit that comes out of this guy's mouth. He may be all in, but Roger Marshall doesn't appear to be all there.
You believe that you will have the votes for this package and you will be able to identify more spending cuts by the July 4th deadline, or is this going to take longer?
Look, I'm still remain optimistic. Ron Johnson, Rick Scott, all those people, Mike Lee and I share the same goal. On the other hand, as you mentioned, we got folks that are afraid of the small Medicaid cuts that we made already, Medicaid cuts that are going to strengthen Medicaid.
Okay. Did you catch that? Medicaid cuts are going to strengthen Medicaid? Wow. That is literally peak MAGA propaganda right there. Or maybe Marshall is just an absolute idiot. Now, let's explore that possibility with this next clip, shall we?
A lot of these senators are not really looking at the kind of growth that you're expecting or that the White House is expecting. Kevin Hassett said to expect 4%, potentially 4% growth in the second half of the year. What would trigger that kind of growth, in your view, in the second half?
Well, I think number one is just an attitude.
That's right, folks. Attitude is going to unfuck the economic chaos caused by the Trump budget and trade war. I think Roger Marshall may have fetal alcohol syndrome. Could just be the attitude, though. Now, Don Jr. went on CNBC to defend his family's corrupt crypto cash grab, and his logic is, as you might expect, totally and utterly detached from reality. Now, you know when this much hot air comes out of a Nepo baby, it's probably time to change the diaper. Watch baby Don let out a hot, wet one here.
I could call any single banker in New York City. They'd pick up the phone. I'd be able to get a loan for whatever real estate project I was doing across the street. Then we got into politics, and all of a sudden, they wouldn't take your call. Right. You couldn't get financing. We were debanked. And what I realized, and my brother realized, because we were the recipients of every subpoena imaginable, was that, you know what, we were actually just the top of this sort of pyramid scheme that we didn't realize we were a part of, that the financial system was totally undemocratized because we had a certain balance sheet and whatever, we could kind of do whatever we wanted. The regular guy was messed up. Now we were all of a sudden in the shoes of the regular guy that wouldn't be able to take advantage of the markets. And we said, what's the solution for that? The answer is crypto.
Wow. You got to sympathize with Lil Donnie here. I mean, it's a crazy world where a regular guy like Trump Jr. can't just call up and get a $500 million loan based on a likely fraudulent application with inflated valuations. That's the show for today, folks. Thanks again for tuning in and supporting the show. Please take a second, subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notified when a new episode drops. And again, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for staying with me until the end of each episode. I'm super new to this. We just launched this show 2 weeks ago. I love that folks are sticking around longer and longer in terms of duration. And I really enjoy the comments. So thank you for all you're doing. Keep resisting, and I'll see you tomorrow.